All right, so listen up. We have a test on Thursday, and the worksheet packet will be due Thursday. A couple of things to be clear on. Well, one fix to make. So please make this fix on the worksheet packet. So grab your worksheet packet right now. Turn to number 15 on the review page. Number 15 on the review worksheet. And it should say, instead of which of the following is false, it should say which of the following is true.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, if you've done the problem, you just kind of switch the answers, but you can make that change to make it work. Second thing I need to say is, all of the answers are posted. If you haven't found it yet, I put them in a different place this time, so apologies. So there's our pre-cal course. That's the one most of you look at. But even if you're watching on video, you've got this folder, Unit 4, Conic Sections. And then before you get into the day-by-day stuff, we've got the blank notes packet, the worksheet packet, worksheet 4 answers, or Unit 4 worksheet answers. This is all of the answers all put in one. So doing it this way made it easy for me to post. That means I only had to post it one time rather than 5 or 6 different things. So it was just easier for me to do that way. Okay, let's take questions on worksheet 4, and then I'll do questions on worksheet 5, and then we'll talk a little bit about the test. So, questions from worksheet 4. Not review, but writing equations of conic sections. Yes, ma'am. Number 6. Olivia, what was yours going to be?
Number 9.
Okay, 6 and 9. Alright, so number 6. An ellipse has a horizontal major axis. Okay, horizontal means this way. Major means it's the longest. Length of 10. So I need to be careful. That means it's 5 from center to vertex. So ellipse. What's the length of? I don't think I want to answer that question yet. I think I would just rather write the equation of the ellipse and go from there. So I know what an equation of an ellipse looks like. Horizontal major axis is 10. What do I do with? I knew to divide it in half to get 5. What do I do with the 5? Square it and put it where? Under the x. So definitely 25 there. Foci are 3, 9, and 11, 9. Again, maybe you can do this without drawing a picture. I think it's helpful. 3, 9, 11, 9. Okay, how does that help me?
You know it's somewhere between there.
What's in between there?
The center.
The center. It's not just anywhere in between there. It's got to be exactly between there.
Yeah.
So, what's halfway between 3 and 11? 7. So you can either just kind of figure it out. That's probably what most of you do. You can do 3 plus 11 is 14 divided by 2 is 7. A midpoint kind of a thing. So the center's at 7, 9. So x minus 7, y minus 9. What about this distance from center to focus? I mean, it's 4, but what does that mean in terms of... Is that A or B or C?
It's going to be B.
A is 5. B is whatever this distance is.
B is 2.
I don't know what B is.
B 2 squared, so it's going to be 4.
What is this distance, though? What letter does that represent, that 4? I know the distance is 4, but what letter is that?
C.
That's C. Center to focus is C. So A squared, is it plus or minus? For an ellipse, it's minus because it's always opposite of the main sign. So for an ellipse, it's A squared minus B squared. So 25 minus B squared equals 16. So we move things around, and B squared is 9. So is B 3 or 9 or 81?
But you gotta
3. So 9 goes under there. Now let's answer the question. What is the length of the minor axis?
So you're looking for not that.
So the square root of 9 is 3. But how long is the minor axis? 6, because you go 3 on either side. That's a good question. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. You had to find the center. You had to know about vertices, major and minor. And you had to know A squared minus B squared equals C squared. That kind of tested everything. Olivia, number 9.
Yep.
An equation for a hyperbola. So probably the first thing I check is to see if they're all hyperbolas, and they are. So that's unfortunate. I was hoping I could throw out an ellipse or something, but they're all hyperbolas. Vertices of 5, 6, and negative 5, 6. Again, if you can figure this out without a picture, more power to you. I think a picture is helpful. I mean, even if it's just a very rough, there's 5, 6, and there's negative 5, 6 for the vertices. I think I learned a lot by drawing a little sketch. What's one thing I learned when I draw those 2 vertices?
It's gonna be on a 0.
Yeah, there's gonna be, the center is at
0,
0, 6. What else do I learn when I draw those vertices? What's this thing's orientation? Left and right. So who comes first in the equation? The x. So I know x comes first. It's multiple choice. So I can either write on my own or I can start looking at my answer choices. I can take out A and D because x is supposed to be first. And then it should be x minus 0 and y minus 6. And B and C both have those.
Yeah.
How far is it from center to vertex? What's that distance?
It's
It's 5.
That's 5. So what do I do with that 5?
Square it. So it's 25.
Square it, I get 25.
Oh, it can't be because 25 is on the.
But 25 needs to go under the x.
So it's gotta be C.
So it's got to be C. Yes. Wow, we left information on the table on that one. I didn't even need to worry about this foci stuff because multiple choice, I was able to figure it out before I even got there.
Is the test gonna be for multiple choice, or we have to do some?
It's vast majority multiple choice, and then at the very end, it's 3
We have to write the equation here. or something.
3 graphing problems, like graph it all, find everything type problems. We're still going to do numbers. 7? Ty?
And then after 7, 2 sticks, why not 6? The really end of it.
Yeah, so let's jump back to 6. So how we got 6.
I think everything else, but we'll do.
So you're good with where this 9 came from and why it goes here. And that means that B equals 3. So that means we're going to go up and down 3. My picture's kind of messed up here, but so we're going to go down 3 and up 3. And so the length of that minor axis, so the shorter axis is 3 and 3 is 6. picture got messed up. There's too many things on my picture. There's my center. I'm going up 3 and down 3. And so the total length of the axis would be 6. Better?
If C equals 4, and then you do it for both sides, then the total length is 8.
Okay, but the total length of I don't even have a name, a focal axis or something. The major axis length is 5, so that would put us out here for the vertex. And that length would be 5. And now my picture is even more messed up. So it's 10 from vertex to vertex. It is 8 from focus to focus, but we never really use that. Number 7. An equation for a hyperbola. Let's go look and see that they're all hyperbolas. They are, so good on that. Vertices of 6, negative 11. Again, picture not absolutely necessary. Certainly doesn't have to be perfect. 6, negative 5. So I already know that y has to be first. So D and C are out. A and B, they have the same center, so I know what the center is. It's got to be 6, negative 8. Oh, and here we go. Distance from center to vertex is 3. But so 3 squared is 9. And the 9 needs to go under the y. Oh, but they both have that.
Yeah, it's exact.
Well, that's not helpful then. So, foci. 6, negative 8, plus or minus square root of 58. So what's this plus or minus square root of 58? That's C. So if we start at 6, negative 8, and we go up or down square root of 58, that's telling me what C is equal to. Which is kind of an ugly number, except that we're going to be using C squared anyway, so it's okay. And then A squared plus B squared or minus B squared? Plus. So C squared is 58. We know A squared is 9. So B squared equals 49. And you're right, you may as well leave it at that because that's what goes in the equation. There's the 49. So it's A. I guess 67 would be if you added 58 and 9. Other questions? Ty?
When you do plus or minus, when you're doing C squared, B squared.
Say that again?
How do you know when to do plus or minus that one?
For this A squared, B squared, Z squared. So hyperbola, general review, and we'll get to what Ty's question was. Circle. By the way, no formulas on the test, but it's multiple choice. So like you look through and you can use the test to find examples of circles and hyperbolas and ellipses. And so it's not like you're completely in the dark on things. Center is HK. Radius is R. That's about all you need to know for circles. For ellipses, X is always first. I don't know if you even want to write all this down. X is always first. A is always bigger. A is always bigger than B. Then the bigger one is the one that matters. It's the one that makes the major axis. And C squared equals A squared minus B squared. For a hyperbola, A is always first, and that determines which order we're going in, or what direction, what its orientation is. So there's the X hyperbola. I guess we should have done this for an ellipse. If A is bigger, then there's your X ellipse, there's your Y ellipse. Oops, if Y comes first, then that means it's an up and down hyperbola. And C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So there's the entire unit in one page. Obviously there's a little more than that, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So any questions on that, like big picture? Remember, A is always the most important one, because in an ellipse, A is bigger and it determines which direction you go. In a hyperbola, A is first, and so it determines which direction you go. Most of the time, it doesn't matter who's A and B. If it's under X, go that many in X. If it's under Y, go that many in Y. And move it down so you can get, yeah. So there's the circle part. And there's ellipses and hyperbolas. And then somebody asked for another one, number 8. Oh yeah, I can do 8. So if the signs are different, that's a giveaway. That's hyperbola. In fact, you might want to just go through and find the different signs to start with. A and D and F are different. Different meaning the X squared, or the squared terms. All the other terms don't really matter.
Well, also the negative and positive.
Right, if they're different signs, then it's going to be a hyperbola. If they're the same signs, then it's either a circle or an ellipse, but how do I tell the difference?
It's the exact same.
If it's exact same number, what's that going to lead to?
Circle.
A circle.
So what about H? Would that be an ellipse since both are negative and it's supposed to be one of them? Has to be
Well, they're exactly the same sign. If I multiply through by negative, I could make them all positive. So that's a circle as well.
So
That means the rest are ellipses. Different or same sign but different values. Same sign, different values. Same sign, different values. So that might be a way to approach that problem. There's one of those on the test, and it looks just like that one. I mean, different numbers, but same setup. Do we need to do any off of the review because I don't know that we'll have time on Thursday. So not a crazy, like which one are you looking at? Not a square root, but a square root that works. So if r is 3, that's good. If r is the square root of 7, that's not a whole number. We haven't done a complete the square problem. 18, 19, 20?
Yeah, 19 and 20.
Do one of those. Let's do 20. Actually,
19.
let's do the hyperbola. Which one's the hyperbola?
That's still 20.
How do you know it's 20?
20. Oh, if it's got a negative chance.
Because the signs are different. So let's do 20. This is off the review. This seems out of order to me, so I'm going to put the y squared first because I want the positive one first. And then move the 16 out of the way. So half
Wait
it.
a second. You put the 8x there. It's supposed to be negative 6y.
Sure is. Y squared minus 6y minus x squared plus 8x. Thank you. Got to catch me before I get further into that, so appreciate that. So half it, square it, add it. Half of b is negative 3. Square it, we get 9. Usually I have to account for a number out front. What did I actually add to the left-hand side?
You mean right-hand side, but 9.
Yeah, I added 9 to the left, so I'll add 9 to the right.
4, 16.
For the x squared, I better be careful. I'm going to factor out the
Plus
negative.
16, but it's a negative, so wait.
Yeah, it's plus 16,
Then you gotta make it a negative 16.
but then we got to make it a negative 16. So y minus 3 squared
So it's just plus 9.
minus x minus 4 squared equals 9. So we'll divide everybody by 9 and get our 1 on the other side. So the center is, ooh, I almost made the mistake.
It's
They're not in order, so be careful. The center is 4, 3, not 3, 4. 4, 3.
It's a 4, 3 because it's a square root on top.
It's
Oh, and it's
4 because 4 is with x, 3 is with y. Then we'll go, this one's kind of nice because if you mess up the left, right, up, down stuff, it's the same. So up and down 3 because that's under the y. Left and right 3 because that's under the x. And then what do I do next? Make the box. Will, after I make the box, what do I do if I want to receive full credit for this problem?
You have to put an X in there.
Got to put those asymptotes in there. The vertices are the up and down ones or the left and right ones? Up and down because the y is first. So that would be 4 up 3 and then 4, 3 down 3, so 4, 0. The foci, c squared equals a squared, plus or minus for this one? plus b squared. Well, now it really doesn't matter who's a and who's b since they're the same thing.
So it's just 9 plus 9.
Whoops, careful, not 9 squared. 9 plus 9. So c squared is 18. So c is the square root of 18. What do I do with the square root of 18?
Rewrite square root.
I can leave it as square root of 18, or I can make it 3 radical 2.
Square root 18 looks good.
But then what do I do with that? Like, how do I find my foci when I know c?
You have to add the other number to it, which would be 1.
So am I going to add it to the x coordinate or the y coordinate?
You add it to both.
Well, maybe it would help to see where they are on the picture. It's like somewhere up here, somewhere down here.
Would it be both since it's the exact same?
Well, how do I get from here, from the center to the two foci? Am I going up and down or left and right?
Up and down.
Up and down. So which coordinate?
That's y.
That would be the y. So 4, 3, and then up and down, square root of 18 or 3 square root of 2, either one. Wouldn't it be cool if you knew how to write the equation of the asymptotes? It's not hard if you remember the point slope form of a line. Y minus k equals m times x minus h. We hadn't done this, but
I can see.
it's way back in Algebra 1, or y minus y1 equals x minus, or m times x minus x1. This would make a good bonus question. So you've already got the pieces. So y minus 3 and x minus 4. And then all that's left is the slope. But you got a picture there. Rise over run. So how many did we rise?
It's 3 is 1.
3, and we ran 3.
Slope be 1.
So 1. That's this one's slope. What do you think the other one's slope is?
Same thing. Negative 1.
Same thing, but negative. There's your bonus right there.
Why wouldn't it?
So you would make this a bonus?
I admit that this is a bonus. I'm on record.
Don't move that paper.
The last one is a bonus?
Yes.
You might be a equation up bigger.
It got a little squinched up there, did it? I'll leave that there and write it bigger. So it comes from the point slope form of a line. But the slope is really easy to find because you have a picture with the slope. And the point you're using is the center. So you already have that. So if you know this form of the line, it's also always plus or minus because there are two of them. It's really not hard to write the equation of the asymptote. Asymptotes, plural. Plus and minus get you both of them.
So we only have to do the
But like I said, they'd make a bonus.
box thing with asymptotes if it's a hyperbola.
Yes, because what do the
It's a
asymptotes
circle.
of a circle and ellipse look like? That's right.
Infinity.
None.
Wait, wouldn't it just be pi?
This is the review, number 7. How do I find the major and minor? So this cinder is at 5, -3, but they all say that, so that's not really helpful. It's true. Actually, look at that. That's if this kind of thing happens, this, not that you would not remember how to find the center, but if all of them say that, that means it has to be true, and then you could remind yourself, oh yeah, that's the center. All right, major axis is the longer one. Minor axis is the shorter one. So A is 7, B is 6. But be careful. Ty, this relates to your question from earlier. If A is 7, 7's bigger than 6, so that means this is the major. But how long is the major axis? 14. Because you're going 7 up and down. So be careful with that one. So major is 14. Minor should be 12. Yeah. Good question. You're welcome.